will be moderated by Assistant Professor Dr. เจษฎา Salatong. Professor เจษฎา is from the Faculty of Communication Arts, Chulalongkorn University, but is also a professional host with a variety of experience in talk shows and as a speaker. Please welcome. In this panel discussion, we have first Associate Professor Roderick W. Bates from the School of Physical and Mathematics Science, Nanyang Technological University. Please welcome. Next, Dr. Anand Jongkaewatthana, the Director of Veterinary Health Innovation and Management Research Group, the National Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, and National Science and Technology Development Agency. Please welcome. Next up, Professor Dr. Thirayut Vilaiwan, Chairperson, Academic and Research Ethics Committee of Chulalongkorn University. And Professor Dr. Sorat Hongladarom, Founding Director, Center for Science, Technology and Society, the Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University. Our esteemed panelists will all share their expertise on various aspects of research integrity in the 21st century. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, DMC, for your kind introduction. And once again, I'm Jesada Salatong from the Faculty of Communication Arts, Chulalongkorn University. I feel very honored to be the moderator for this session with our esteemed panelists. Well, as we have heard in this morning, that research integrity is very important nowadays. But however, it's still very vague and still very new to many ears in Thailand as well. I think just before I got onto the stage, I just talked to Ajahn Sorat that what is it in Thai? What is it in Thai exactly? And Ajahn Sorat just said that it's very difficult to give a certain definition of this, and even right now it's still controversial and debatable on how can we call it in Thai, right, Ajahn? So I think since it's very abstract and very new and innovative to many ears, and more than that, in this year we faces a lot of disruption. The coming of AI, we talk a lot about this. So I think this topic, research integrity in the 21st century, is really important and very interesting and yet challenging as well. So I would like to start the first question. I would like to ask the four panelists with the same question, that from your point of view and experience, what should be prioritized when we talk about research integrity? Okay, let's do it like this. Okay, let's start from Dr. Bates, please.
Do you want to start with me?
Yeah, please.
So what's our priority in research integrity?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a Ajahn, it has to be education.
Okay.
Right? So, people come to the university at different levels, mostly as students, and they've never heard this term research integrity before. As you said, in Thai, you're not even quite sure how to refer to it. So the priority is educating everybody so they understand what is research integrity, how they should behave, how they should handle data, how they should publish data. Mm-hmm. So number one, as always for universities, education.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe the literacy about research integrity.
You could call it research integrity literacy. Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think that's the very first step. And next, Ajahn Anand.
In my opinion, I think the consequences of the scientific misconduct, mm-hmm. or something that can lead to the consequences of bad science in terms of research integrity should be emphasized. In case that if something that has very big impact to the society, because we are in the scientific community and people outside our community are looking at us. And if research integrity is not emphasized, people will look at scientists as something that they cannot trust.
Yeah.
That can lead to bad consequences as a whole. So I think, in my point of view, I just want to emphasize on the consequences of research integrity to the public point of view. Something like that.
Yeah, because I think nowadays trust is really important, and scientists can have lots of outreach to the public as well. And because I'm from journalism point of view, there are so many data information disorder, fake news and stuff like that. So if we cannot be the one that can be trusted, that's going to be a lots of problem. Okay, next อาจารย์ ธีรยุทธครับ
Yes, in my view, I think honesty and transparency are the very important aspect of research integrity that I like to give it very high priority. Everything that you do, you must be sure that you are honest.
Yes.
You are reporting what you find as what you find, not cherry pick as Dr. Bet show. Not presenting your best result as typical result, because science are based on trust. If you are not trustworthy, then there's a big consequence in the trust of your research, and not only affecting you yourself, it's also affecting the university, also the country,
the whole society.
As a whole, the whole society.
Yeah.
Yes, and transparency is also important.
Okay.
So you have to tell if you have conflict of interest or something that might bias your research. And another thing, I agree with everyone that knowledge, teaching education, or I would say creating awareness through education and training. As education is just one part. You can ask people to go to an ethics course, maybe a couple of hours, pass the exam, and then you think you know? No, it's actually the real working atmosphere in the lab that will shape up how people think about research ethics.
Okay.
If you learn in theory that you should do this, you should do that, but in the real lab your supervisor said otherwise, that would be a problem. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. อาจารย์ Sorat, please.
Yes, I'm very glad to be here. First of all, I fully agree with the previous speakers, especially Roderick, of the importance of education, and also Thirayut has emphasized this point also. I might also add that the cultural dimensions are really important, especially in the context of Thailand that we are having. As of now, there are pieces of news of professors in some universities being accused of committing plagiarism. This news show the level of interest on the side of the public of what we are discussing, in this one-day workshop, and it shows that when we talk about the role that the public is looking at what we in the universities and research institutes are doing, they are taking quite a level of interest in what we are doing, and that is all a good thing, because when I was young, when I was starting my career, people did not talk much or at all about research integrity. Of course, there were cases of plagiarism and so on, but in the past, people tended to kind of hush about these things, because the culture, because I want to emphasize the role of culture, is the culture was such that they are high-level professors and so on. But now things are changing, which is going to right direction.
Okay. Before we move to the second question, actually, I myself as a researcher as well, if we look at research integrity, ideologies look fine, and actually we should stick to this. nothing to against this. However, in your opinion, what are the trap, or what are the things that distract people or lure people, to do something away from research integrity? Or I don't know what to, if this is research integrity, maybe it's research unfaithfulness or what? So what do you think? What are the challenges that make people derail from research integrity?
I would say the first is pressure to produce results.
Yeah.
When people are under pressure from their professor, from their examiners, from their funder, from their university,
From their KPIs.
From their KPIs, exactly, to produce results, then they may be tempted to take shortcuts.
I see.
And those shortcuts can evolve into misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly some of the cases that I've seen are the result of pressure.
I see.
Also the research fellows, the postdocs, who know they're on a short-term contract and need to move on to a faculty position in their home country typically. They need a good CV in order to get that faculty position. So they feel an internal pressure to get a good CV, and that needs publications, first author publications. So that's a form of pressure on them. So I think in most cases, it's the pressure to produce. So this means that when we consider research integrity, we also have to consider the role of the people who are setting those KPIs.
I agree.
So the universities have to set KPIs that are realistic, because of course many universities may not have such good facilities as others, and so they really need to set their KPIs appropriately. Otherwise, they are unconsciously promoting research misconduct.
Well, that's really, I think I totally agree with you that being realistic, not only from the researcher perspective itself, but for the university level, organizational level, I think this is really important. Arya Ajahn, would you like to say something on this?
Yeah, if I may, what I would like to add is that in Thailand there is kind of an overemphasis on the result, on the surface, on what people accomplish, what kind of paper they have published, and some universities tend to put up signs, banners, praising these people, and of course this goes up from Roderick's point about KPIs and the pressure that the universities are pushing toward the researchers. What I'm thinking and what I might add is that KPIs are, we cannot escape them in these days and age, because they are the benchmarks by which universities judge themselves or evaluate themselves, especially when they compare themselves with other universities. Well, there are a lot of criticisms of doing that, but if we look at them in a kind of a positive way, they are a way that universities try to, bring their faculty to get up to standard, or at least to improve themselves, which is a good thing because that reflects on teaching and research. But instead of looking only, or instead of overemphasizing the results, the university should pay more attention to doing the necessary things that will result in faculty members achieving those results. I'm talking about research infrastructure, libraries, research funding, especially library, because in my field, it is almost always focusing on libraries. So, and also, of course, in other fields, laboratories and so on. Those are and workshops like these and workshops in specific fields, conferences and so not predatory conferences, but real conferences. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Ajahn Thirayut would like to say something.
Yes, Dr. Bates talked about pressure in a negative sense. But in Thailand, there is also a different kind of, I wouldn't say pressure, but some kind of incentive for producing publications.
We have like push and pull.
Yeah, we have push
factor.
and pull. And also, yeah, in Thailand, many universities, I guess, I bet all universities do the same thing. If you publish a paper, you can claim some incentive from the university. So this has been done in the past in order to promote publications.
And with good amount of
with
money.
good amount of money. It depends on the institution. My faculty is not so rich, so we pay very low amount. But faculty like the accountancy and commerce, the school of business, they paid very, very handsome amount of money. In other university, I heard that some university you can claim like 100,000 baht per a Q1 paper. So this creates some kind of bad habit for researcher.
And it's not just Thailand.
Yeah,
Does it exist in Singapore? No.
It does not exist in Singapore, but I know one very large country nearby where it is
I know.
practiced.
I know which country.
You know
is
the
that.
what I mean.
I know.
And you're absolutely right. This
and
does promote.
I heard that if you publish in Nature, you could buy a house or a car.
Oh.
Yes.
So you rich by nature. You rich by nature publication. Yeah.
Yeah. So this kind of thing actually, I think in the long run it hurt the research integrity.
And I would note that some countries which are very advanced in science and technology have never done this.
You mean in terms of incentive, right?
The United States, the UK, Germany, Switzerland,
Japan.
Japan.
They
have never followed this policy.
Okay. Well, so KPI and pressure, incentive, push and pull. I think that's really important. So thank you very much for your points of view. The next question I would like to ask Ajahn Sorat directly, but for the other speakers, if you would like to share something on this, please feel free to do so. Nowadays, AI is being used for research purposes quite a lot. So from your opinion, please elaborate the scope of using AI to what extent that it is still acceptable for academic and research ethical standard.
Yes, I was asked to prepare something about the role, especially ChatGPT, or other LLMs, large language models in research. And I think all of us professors have the experience of students turning up their papers, and we don't know, or we are not sure whether they wrote their papers themselves or whether they got their help from ChatGPT. So that is the first thing, and that is both ethics of doing research and teaching ethics, if we can call that. At Jula, we call it academic ethics. That's why not the title of Ajahn Thirayut's organization is not ORI, Office of Research Integrity, but Office of Research and Academic Integrity, ORAI. So one thing I told my student about is that they can use ChatGPT as an aid to their research or to their writing, but they cannot substitute their own writing for ChatGPT, because the purpose of education is for them to think for themselves and to write things for themselves. That is one thing. And another thing pertains to the nature of these large language models themselves, because they are based on the very large amount of data that they are trained on. And as such, they are not creative by nature, because what they come up with are kind of manipulations through, very sophisticated statistical means. I don't know anything about those means, but the LLMs, they do not understand any meaning of whatever no matter how long the text they come up with, they don't understand a bit because they don't have the capacity of understanding. We might have an AI system that is capable of understanding the text or the language that they are using. I don't know, scholars are debating about this, maybe 10 years from now, maybe 20 years from now, or maybe not at all. But in any case, as of now, we might be talking about the very powerful ChatGPT-4 and so on. But they are still statistical means by which they manipulate very large data sets consisting of, text and language, and as such they don't understand. But the purpose of education, of course, is to help students to understand whatever they are learning about in their courses. So, and this is also related to the research. It's not that and I agree with NTUs because I learned a lot from Roderick's presentation in the morning, and at Jula, we have roughly the same kind of guideline regarding the use of ChatGPT and other LLMs both in academic teaching setting and in research, which is roughly speaking, you can use. It's okay to use ChatGPT as long as you acknowledge in your paper that ChatGPT has been used as an aid. After all, we scholars, we researchers have a large number of tools that are within our disposal, because when we want to search the literature, for example, we go to where else, the internet, the computer, and we fire up our libraries database. So I look at Scopus or EBSCO or whatever databases that the university is offering. So we have these tools, and when we are writing, I'm using Grammarly UI2.
Yeah,
it's very useful, especially for us whose language
it's not English is not our mother tongue.
Right. Whose language is native language is not English. So those are okay. So ChatGPT belongs to the same category, but if you kind of delegate your thinking and your research to ChatGPT, that will be the sticking point. So roughly those are the areas that should be of concern in my view.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other Ajahn would like to share on AI use in research?
Let me just say that when we were formulating our policy, we had a workshop where we just invited everybody to come and discuss. And one faculty member who came, who was a similar age to me, drew the analogy with the pocket calculator. When the pocket calculator came in, so many people were unhappy that it would ruin people's mathematical skills. But now we don't think anything about it. And so maybe ChatGPT will be like this.
Good metaphor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one thing that I was conscious of was exactly the point that you made. For many of our students, English is not their first language. And so ChatGPT in that way is a big benefit, a big help to them. It's a question of when they go beyond that. But I want to make the point that when we talk about generative AI, it's not just text generation, because there are generative AI tools that will create images.
And voice as well.
And voice, but of course voice usually doesn't go into publications.
Okay.
So as people become more aware of using generative AI to create images, they won't need to Photoshop anymore to fabricate results. They can get generative AI to do it. And that is something we're going to have to be aware of, and also something we will have to create awareness about.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, please, Ajahn Anand.
Yeah, I just want to, I found one article in Nature two weeks ago. Very interesting that they sent a questionnaire to 1,600 researchers around the world, asking about their view on how AI and science related.
And the result
very
is?
Interesting is that more than half of the responders say that they never use AI. They use AI, and the one that use AI said they use it for something outside scientific field. They use just create for entertainment, drawing pictures and everything. So I think and the problem of generative AI that they indicate, they said that they fear of the AI will proliferate misinformation. So this is something that and actually making plagiarism easier.
I see.
And the most benefit thing that they think it help researcher whose English is not a first language to write easier. So this is something that I think is a trend for the benefit of AI in nowadays using it, and people are so making it easier to use and use AI to beyond the scope of ethical usage, such as asking AI to write the whole paragraph without knowing is this come from the reliable sources, or they just make up some fake references that they don't ever check back. And I think in terms of ethical concern, Ajahn Sora just mentioned that a lot of publishers allow the AI for the scope of like correcting English or helping with some paragraph, writing, but it's our own paragraph, it's not someone else, and they plagiarize for us. In that case, that they have to be transparent by acknowledging that they use AI for what particular purposes, such as in data analysis or correcting English or something like that. In case that they use ChatGPT or AI but don't declare it, some publisher, if they catch that, they can actually just undergo some rejection or withdrawal afterwards. So they could be more serious after
consequence.
Transparency should be very, very emphasized on making ChatGPT involved in the publication process.
Again, just like what Ajahn Ledrick mentioned, that literacy and awareness is really important. Like I myself teaching research class for my undergrad, and I use AI in my class. And when I asked my students to try to use AI to do literature review, and they found exactly what, like Ajahn Anand mentioned, that is there is hallucination. They just like made up some reference which is look reliable but actually is groundless. So I think this is what we have to aware and understand. Okay. And the next question I would like to ask Ajahn Anand. What is the most common issue for researchers to violate academic and research ethics, and to what extent to be considered as a very serious or critical case?
I think all of them that Ajahn said this
like,
morning are actually related.
Fabrication, falsification, plagiarism.
All those classic examples. But I'm a researcher, so the thing that I concern the most are fabrication and falsification. Because in that aspect, plagiarism is actually something that someone copy idea or text, and the consequence of that is just the personal or individual of that person making copy the idea. But for falsification and fabrication, they have more consequences to people outside in terms of like if the impact of that research is very big. Something like if I can put some example, like there's a study in 1998 in England that people said a vaccine, MMR, that caused a direct effect to the autism in children, and that lead to the termination of that vaccine usage during that time. That lead to a lot of children dead of measles infection during that time. But it turned out that the study is just fabricated data. So this is something like if falsification or fabrication lead to direct effect to the human health, that for me, I think is the biggest consequence that should be put into consideration. And there is a lot more level of effect, such as if somebody need to come back and repeat or to repeat the thing that has been falsified or fabricated. There's going to be a lot of funding losing, a lot of trust losing, and a lot of things that are going to be lost from those kinds of misconduct. So for me, I think this is something that is the most serious thing. But I think plagiarism and also authorship also very, very serious too. But in terms of consequences for me, I think falsification and fabrication is the one that need to be taken very seriously.
Cannot negotiate.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Ajahn would like to add on.
Yes, I totally agree with Ajahn Anand that fabrication and falsification have a very serious consequence compared to the other two, because in fabrication or falsification, you can waste other people's time in trying to reproduce what actually not can be reproduced. Like in drug business, there are, if you see some initial good reports that this drug may cure cancer, then it's actually not the real thing. It's kind of publication bias, selective data, and drug companies try to invest on that, and then it end up doesn't work. So it's kind of big loss. And there is a statistic that even publications in high profile journals, the rate of reproducibility is very low. It's like less than a half. I think less than a half is still too positive. It's actually like 20% or something like that. And because of the case that I think Dr. Bet talked in the morning, that the kind of the postdoc kind of do 10 experiments and it works only 2 times and only report the two times that the results are positive to the professor. But actually this cannot be reproduced. So this make a very serious consequence.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, please.
If I can just make a point about the MMR vaccine, because it's not just the children dying of measles, because then there's a knock-on effect of loss of trust in the whole system.
Exactly.
So this was Andrew Wakefield was the guy, and I think it's because of him there was so much vaccine hesitancy during the COVID pandemic in certain countries. And so the death rate and the suffering from COVID was magnified because of this false study.
Yeah.
It's very damaging, particularly in the medical field.
Okay. Well, we can see that falsification can damage, and the footprint and the impact is a lot. Okay. I would like to ask Ajahn Roderick. Okay. So now I would like to focus on ORAI, the University Office of ORAI, and also the university role as well. How can the office help encourage the research community to focus on research integrity?
So how can we do this? First of all is education.
Okay.
So what we do, talk about this a little in the afternoon. We require everybody to go through online.
Can you use this microphone? Yeah, sorry.
We require everybody, graduate students up to the president of the university, to take an online research ethics course. So, I mean, as you said, a course is not perfect, but it is the starting point.
Better than nothing.
It's much better than nothing at all.
Will we have that?
We are developing.
Okay.
Right now we are adopting the system provided by NASDAQ.
I see. Okay. Yeah, online course.
And then we can build on that by other events. So in a week's time, we will be doing an event for our College of Science students to build on the online course. So education is something you can do, but the other thing you have to do is to make sure everybody has confidence that the university or the research institute is serious about research integrity. So at NTU, right up to the top administration, we've always been serious about research integrity. And people know this is so because they can see we've taken action. And so I think this is one thing where Singapore universities set a good example for other universities around the world. So in some countries, there is the tendency to avoid taking action. You sweep the complaint under the carpet, particularly if it's a complaint from someone who's at a junior level, like a student or research fellow. You know,
small voices
just from small people, just go away, don't trouble us. Don't take that approach. You must treat every allegation
equally
from any person seriously.
And equally, yeah.
And then there's another country, well, I don't name the country, where the investigation simply drags on so long. So by the time a conclusion is reached, everyone's forgotten what the original allegation was. So the university has to take action. It must be prompt action, it must be fair action, and it must be decisive so that the whole community has confidence in what the university is doing.
Okay. Well, then, what are your recommendations to universities in Thailand?
So you need to have a procedure in place about how to handle complaints. So the procedure must be there. And so you must also have the people in place in order to implement that procedure. So whether you have a full-time research integrity officer or whether you have a committee or whatever, it's whatever works best in your situation. So you must have the system and you must have the people. You must also have a leadership of the university that's committed to research integrity. I mean, I cannot do my job unless I know I have the support of the university leadership at the top level. Because by the nature of the job, I'm going to upset somebody.
It's not an easy job, I can tell. You're gonna step on someone's foot.
So I need the support of the top people in
to
case.
back you up.
Yes.
I totally agree.
Yes. And then, so these things all have to be in place. And then the education of everyone in the university community has to be started. So this is what the Thai universities, I mean, Chula's already started. Mahidol is already working on it.
Just started. We have to learn more.
Ajahn, just like what Ajahn Roderick said, that we need to have leadership, we need to have vision, we need to have infrastructure, we need to have people in place. So far, what are we still lacking?
What are we still lacking? Well,
okay.
I think things that you list we have, but still in the very early stage of implementing. And during the few years that we have started, there are some problems, something that make us cannot work as quickly as we want. Okay. Maybe one thing is I don't know, in Thai we call รูปหน้าปากจมูก culture.
I don't know what to explain in English.
What to explain in English?
Yeah, but something that pretty, well, you make it just like shallow and then make it just happen and then gone, to other things.
Yeah, you have to be serious. You have to have a long-term commitment.
Commitment. You need to have commitment. Yeah, exactly.
So may I ask how big is the research integrity office at NTU? How many full-time staff you have apart from the committee?
It's very small. Willie just flashed up 10. Is it that many? Yeah.
About 10?
About 10?
Yeah.
But most of those are handling, IRB and IR Cook.
Okay, so you're also counting IRB. So in July we have different separate set of IRB people and IR Cook people. Okay. For our research integrity office, we have only one full-time staff, and the rest are professors that are on the board of committee.
I mean, I can, as I said in my talk, when I need help from other faculty members, or also from chairs and associate deans and so forth, I get it. Those people come forward to help when I need it. So that there's no fixed number of the people involved. It's very fluid.
I mean full-time staff that run day-to-day business.
Full-time staff, yeah. As
Only
Willie says it's 10.
Only you.
It's only 9 in the office today because Willie's over there.
Okay, right. So I take this figure and go to university to say that we need more people.
Ajahn Sorat would like to say something.
Yes. I would like to follow up on what Professor Yongyut has said earlier in the morning. He was talking about the idea of having a national level ORI. The role of the national level ORI, I think we are modeling it from the US. They have their own Federal Office of Research Integrity that oversees research integrity in all the universities and research institutes in the country. Right now in Thailand, we are talking about how to draft a national law to set up such an agency. We are talking about in what form or whether the National Research Council of Thailand should be the host of the national level ORI and so on. But the whole idea is that they will look at cases where different universities, cases that involve more than one university, those cases that only one institute cannot resolve adequately. So things are going into the right direction, which is very encouraging because I have been working on this for quite some time. And another thing is that from what I have read about the role of the institution level ORI, they don't need to be big. I mean, in a big university, because of course we are not talking about institutional review boards for human subjects. Those are big stuff. But for ORI only, maybe one maybe too few, maybe 2 or 3. Yeah. Because the role is to coordinate activities among the faculties within the university, and and as Roderick has said, we can invite the ORI can invite people to lead in seminars and workshops at various faculties, various departments within the university, because different disciplines may talk about this thing a bit differently. The focus might be slightly different, but of course the whole thing is on research integrity. So only when there are cases, serious cases that demand investigation, then the ORI can start doing that. So it's good to have somebody with a legal background, but the idea is that we don't want to go that far, but sometimes that's necessary. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The role should be more on kind of cheerleading.
rather than inspecting.
Getting people to be aware, become aware of the need to remain, integrity, to have integrity in their research.
Yeah, I agree, because integrity should happen from the inside, rather than get forced to do. I think so. Actually, to promote, I think this is really important. Okay, and the next question, before we go to Q&A from the floor, I would like to ask Ajahn Thirayut, as we talk that trustworthiness, credibility is really important. So what are your recommendations for researchers in reaching the standard of research integrity to be accepted by the research community, funding sources, and the public?
I guess for all of you who are professors or full-time researchers you already know what is the ethical standard, international standard in your field. So actually, I have no good recommendation for you. Everything you know, but it depends how seriously you are going to take on it. Okay. But I would like to recommend that you should regularly update yourself on this kind of topic. Maybe you can follow the Retraction Watch database to learn new cases. If you read editorial of Science and Nature, you always see this kind of interesting cases. And there are a lot more new things that you can learn, like the use of ChatGPT, which is something relatively new. And attending workshop like this will help you broadening your idea, your vision about research integrity. Another thing that I want to emphasize is your important role in your laboratory. Your students, your researcher, your postdoc must have attended some kind of training, compulsory training. But as I said, it's just only maybe a 1 hour training with some examination. They pass. It doesn't mean that they know everything about research integrity. The important thing is the practice, the thing that actually happened in your laboratory. You have to emphasize that you are serious about this, and furthermore, you have to be the role model. Because if they learn online one thing and then you ask your student to fake the data, then you are not promoting, you are not fostering the newer generation of people to have research integrity. So this is the thing that I want to leave with you.
Okay, thank you. About the others, you would like to add on this? Ajahn Anand, please.
This one analogy I use all the time is, I think that research integrity is like you make a wall with brick. That brick should be strong all over the world. I'm not going to use a brick from Singapore to build my wall. I want Singapore to use Thai brick to use their wall too. Does that mean if research integrity need to make a very strong wall, all the brick from all over the world should be the same quality.
I see.
I don't want people to think that, oh, this is from Thailand, and they're going to be somehow collapsed very soon because they don't have trust in that brick. Something to keep in mind, what can we make the brick that people from Singapore and all over the world think that the Thai brick can be used in their construction. So this is something to come back to us, that that's not going to change in just 1 or 2 years, but it's going to be maybe 5 or 10 years in the future. But somehow if one incident happen and make people around the world look at the social media, every Twitter, and then tweet it like there's one data from Thai scientists showing some falsification, and that make the brick corrupt. And then people who read those Twitter from very well-known whistleblower every day. I read myself and then, oh, this is going to be bad for the Thai community. It happened every day. So I just doesn't want to see those kinds of posts in the next 10 years. And if that happens, the Thai brick can be into the international standard.
Okay, so we should have universal standard that can be applied to all the bricks in all the countries. Okay.
But as I said in my talk, it's not just your reputation and your university's reputation, it's your country's reputation as well. And people have to keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, I think that's all for the questions from myself. But I would like to open the floor to the questions from anyone who would like to ask. Please raise your hand, and then the microphone will be with you. Any question, any comments, anything to share? No need to be only question, please.
Hi, I'm Thomas from Mahidol University. Just wondering if, well, first of all, this has been a very good session, and the first workshop, I think it's something that can really help Thailand, and many of us in academia really appreciate what's going on with the need to have this type of discussion. So my question is, Dr. Roderick, in the morning, you had mentioned weaponizing research integrity. I was wondering if you can speak more to that.
Yes, I didn't want to mention it, but we had one case where research integrity was severely weaponized. So, I mean, a university is a big community and a big diverse community, and there are people within that community who feel they're treated unfairly and develop grudges and seek retribution. And so one pathway is to make allegations. You know, people whose contract is terminated and they think they don't like their contract being terminated. So we've had several cases where people like that have made allegations against their supervisor, their former supervisor. But of course, we cannot judge people's motives. We have to judge their complaint. Just because it's made in bad faith does not mean it's a false allegation. And in some cases, particularly with anonymous allegations, we don't know what the motive is because we don't even know who's making the complaint. So we have to treat all complaints the same. And yes, when someone files a complaint against you, it's painful.
Yeah.
So I think the obligation on us then is to handle the complaint as promptly and as painlessly as possible so that people can put it behind them. It has to be dealt with. It's not nice. So let's get it done as quickly as possible, not delay. Reach a conclusion in a prompt fashion and then inform the complainant and the complainee what is the conclusion and draw a line under the matter so everyone can move on. So yes, people do weaponize the process. We know that. And so we have to be prepared to handle that.
Okay.
So, I mean, one complaint came into me on a Saturday morning.
This Saturday? You mean like the last Saturday?
This was some time ago during the pandemic. It came in on a Saturday.
Okay.
Fortunately, it was locked down, so I had nowhere to go. Sunday, deal with the complaint. Monday, reach the conclusion.
Oh.
It was a very pathetic complaint, but it still had to be dealt with.
Okay.
So yes, act promptly, act fairly, and then we can all move on.
Wow. Well, you know, like I really worried about July, you know, because with that amount of staff, you know, and with this mission, I think we have to deal with this quite quickly as well.
Yeah. We will try to make it quick, but it's not as quick as we want.
But you see, it depends on the complaint.
Yeah.
Because some complaints are really empty. You look at the complaint, oh, this person did this. Where's the evidence?
No.
There's like no evidence.
Yeah.
If the complainant cannot produce any substantiation, then it's over.
Yeah.
And you can move on.
We can turn it down immediately.
It's when they have evidence, then it's inevitably going to take
longer. But
longer.
again, there's a lot of headache, I think.
Particularly for the person who's the subject of the complaint.
Okay.
I mean, for me, okay, but it's the person who's the subject of the complaint is the one who really has the headache.
Okay.
But at the end, there will be someone unhappy, right? Either the complainer or the complainee. And
we strive for an outcome which everyone is happy with. Don't always achieve it, but this is what we would like. But yes, usually somebody.
How many appealing that they have get after you made the first decision?
There are some who appeal. Yes, we actually. One thing I didn't mention. Yes, we have an appeals process, and sometimes we have people who appeal. But yes, usually someone will be disappointed by the outcome.
Okay, thank you so much for the question and the answer as well. How about the other? Do you have any other comments or question from the floor? Oh yeah, please, อาจารย์ครับ
I have a question on policy for rewards for publications. Is this policy in practice in other countries like Singapore? And for Thailand itself, is this a good policy? How should we modify it? For example, if we still keep the reward system, how would this be, managed in a constructive way so that people do not misuse the reward system? Thank you.
I'm sure that Singapore you don't have it.
I imagine that's a question for me.
Yeah.
Regarding the Thai system, let me ask you, suppose someone is given a financial reward for publishing a paper, and then that paper is retracted. Do you then ask for a refund?
Refund with interest.
In principle, it should, but I do not remember if there is any cases like this.
But I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are.
As you saw, there were 28 retractions
sure they
from
are.
Thailand this year so far.
I got to check the list if there is any papers that has claimed the incentive from the university.
And I think it's going to be more complicated because that can be a distraction of their academic entitlement as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, and also degree if it involves
Exactly.
of students.
So going to the question, the answer is simple: no. We do not get any money simply for publishing a paper.
Okay.
So we have what we call annual appraisal. So every year we have to inform the university of our achievements for the year. But that includes our achievements not just in terms of research, but also teaching and service. So this workshop today will go on my list. Right? And then we have a system of an annual bonus. So we are given an annual bonus every year, but that reflects our overall achievements, not just our publications. And I would add that a few years ago, the university made a change. Instead of telling the university all our publications, we were asked just to tell the university our 5 best publications and also to emphasize the impact of the publications. So whether, what your research actually contributed to the community or to society. So trying to get away from the model of publish as much as possible and move towards a model of publish something useful. So the answer to the question, do we get paid if we publish a paper? Very simple.
No.
No, we don't.
Okay. Ajahn Anand and Ajahn Sorat, please.
I would suggest another alternative. That money can go to the publisher charge. That the money to publish a good paper nowadays is very, very high. And as a researcher, those money we're not going to go to our pocket, but use it for like an incentive to promote going for a very high ranking journal. That way should be use the money in the very
wisely and carefully,
and then actually promoting the standard of the country instead of using the money go back like my own incentive. So this, if the money going to be granted or to spend, I think this is a good way to do it.
Okay. And going to be more visibility of the paper. Okay, Ajahn Sorat, please.
Yeah, I was thinking about along the same line as Ajahn Anand has said. I've been in the university. I've been at Jula for so long, and my experience is that way back, I don't remember how long. The idea of rewarding faculty for publishing a paper was only to pay the researcher so that they will be able to pay the publisher. So the university gives, when their paper is published, the university gives the money to the researcher so that the researcher can use that money to pay the publisher. In case the publisher requires what is known as open access fee or some other kind of,
which is quite a lot,
publishing fee, which now is yes, quite a lot, like 70,000 baht and up. per paper. So that was the idea, but I don't know. I don't remember when the idea was changed.
Yeah. to be
Subsidizing, the publishing fee to simply giving the money to
the writer, the author,
the researcher, to the author himself or herself, what is happening right now, and I'm so glad that Ajahn Yongyut has raised this very important question. Even at Jula, some faculties pay different rates, and I don't know why, because the business school faculty of commerce pays something like I was told
I have heard as well
more than 100,000 baht.
I wish I could
per paper
write Q1 paper in the faculty.
You get like $500,000 baht.
Yeah.
If it's like Q1 or Tier 1, it's even more.
Exactly.
I don't know, maybe 250,000 or more. Whereas at my faculty, they pay only 10,000.
Same rate as my faculty.
10 times different, even within the same university.
Yeah.
So the whole idea has become in need of total total revision, and instead of budgeting a certain amount of money because that is among the agenda of the research affairs division of the university for quite some time, and I was lucky enough to sit in the committee of the research division. They had to allocate this item every year, but right now, talking about open access publication, more and more journals are turning away from their traditional model of subscription. Libraries pay subscription fees to journals, and then journals become available to the libraries, and the library make the journals available to their members, and so on. Now it's changing. Now it's like when you publish a paper with a journal, more and more likely it will be open access, meaning the author must pay certain amount, like 70,000 baht or up to the journal, and the whole idea of subscription is kind of becoming more and more in the past. So the idea is for the public, more and more people, they will be able to get access to those articles, to this knowledge, and so on. But my thinking is that instead of allocating such and such amount of money to pay for the rewards, as we are talking about, universities should start thinking about allocating this amount or more or whatever is needed to pay for open access, or if a number of universities inside the country can get together, becoming a consortium, they can negotiate because they become bigger, so they have more clout when they negotiate with the publisher, negotiate for a kind of open access subscription, so to speak, so that when a Jula faculty publishes his or her paper in a journal, they don't need to pay for the open access fee themselves, but they get published, and the university or the consortium already pays the journal, as part of this big deal. Many countries are doing that, and Thailand is, as quite always, lagging a bit behind. Yeah.
Okay, Ajahn Thirayut, please.
I want to add that, well, in my opinion, it's a bit pity that we use public fund to do research, and then we write for these publishers for free. We do the review for free, and then we have to pay them. Now we have to pay them for publishing. I want to ask this publisher, when you have a lot of profits, please donate it back to the public fund.
Okay.
Okay, and for the question of Ajahn Yut, what we can do, actually, it is difficult to get rid of this thing completely. I mean, some people think this is a kind of some research money that they can use without restriction because it comes in the form of incentive. The professor just sign the receipt and then they can use the money for whatever they want, like paying for students or taking them for meals, something like that. But what July is doing now is we have a cap. So at the university level now, I think in a given fiscal year, we cannot claim more than 150,000 baht, including the open access fee and the incentive for the publication of paper or the fee for cover journals. Now journals have another business model. When you have a paper, then they accept that they ask you whether you want to make a features on the cover. And then they charge you another like 40,000 baht for making that cover.
Good business.
Good business, yeah. So we have a cap, and also at the faculty level, in my faculty also, we have a cap. Like, and I'm not sure how many, 3,000 baht, something like that. Not 3,000, 30,000 baht. So this is something that in the transition, I don't know, maybe one day we can completely abandon this system, because we start in my faculty of science, we start this policy some more than 10 years ago. At the time, we have like 100 papers a year. But now we have 800 papers a year. So if we continue doing that, paying at the same rate, we are going to bankrupt soon.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
May I ask
yeah,
one
please,
question about
please.
this policy of
please.
paying for each paper? Because normally a paper has more than one author.
Yes.
So
Only
which of the authors gets the money?
Only first or corresponding
yeah.
have the right to claim, and they have to negotiate who will claim.
Will be only one, like
only one can claim,
and then they share or they whatever.
But if you're from different university, you can claim from
both.
Claim
the both.
If you qualify the criteria of the university, sometimes you have 2 stars, right? One from Mahidol, one from Jura, you can claim from both.
And if you have an author from your business faculty, you can claim more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, in some ajahn, they have their goals, to publish and then get the paper and get the money from this. It's really lucrative.
Yeah. Before this capping rule is implemented, there were some guys who claimed like almost 1 million baht in a year, just for publication fee, publication incentive.
It really seems to me a clear conflict of interest in publication.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's really eye-opening for the both of us, from Singapore and from Thailand. Okay. Any questions? I guess this is the last question if you have. Okay. If not, I think we had such a productive talk, and I enjoy a lot. I learned a lot from what we talked. So please give a big round of applause to our panelists, อาจารย์ Roderick อาจารย์ อนันต์ อาจารย์ ธีรยุทธ แล้วก็อาจารย์ โสรัตน์ นะครับ Thank you so much, and now I would like to turn the floor back to the MC, please.
Thank you so much to all of our esteemed panelists, Dr. Anand Jongkyawattana, Associate Professor Roderick W. Bates, Professor Dr. Thirayut Wilaiwan, and Professor Dr. Sorat Hongladarom, as well as our moderator, Assistant Professor Dr. Jesada Salatong, for the amazingly insightful and thought-provoking discussion on the current state of academic research integrity. The contemporary challenges and solutions that are mentioned here are truly a commitment to the highest ethical standards, and might I add, very enjoyable to listen to as well. Let us carry the insights from today's discussions into our academic and research endeavors to raise the bar on research integrity in the 21st century. And now, of course, may I also ask all of our esteemed panelists to please take a picture together to commemorate this first workshop on research integrity.
นั่งดีกว่าไม่ยืนนั่งดีกว่า
One setup, please. มาข้างหน้าเลย in front of the
And another quick thank you to our guest from the Nanyang Technological University for making this day possible, and also this amazingly and thought-provoking discussion as well.